City Council Policy Meeting to order Tuesday, August 21st, 2018 at 6 p.m. Present tonight we have Councilman Podeska, Councilman Wilden, myself, Councilman Barch, and Councilman Porter. Councilman McCombo will be joining us shortly. So we do have a quorum. Councilman Wilden, will you lead us in our invocation? And Councilman Podeska, will you lead us in our pledge?
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful that we're able to be gathered here this evening as leaders of the community, and we're grateful that we're able to review and take action that will be good for our community and the long-term improvement of our friends and neighbors. And we ask Thee to bless us with Thy Spirit, that we'll be able to be enlightened and make good decisions. And these things we say in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Everyone please rise and repeat the pledge after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, public input. Time has been set aside for the public to express ideas, concerns, and comments. If you're here for the public hearing, please hold your comments for the public hearing. Please be respectful in your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is anybody here for public input at this time? Okay, if you want to come up and state your name and address for the record. If you would like to, you can.
Josh Johansson, also at Stillwater Community.
Okay. It's yours.
So we come tonight, hopefully, between the mayor and the city council men and women to address a situation. We live at the end of the Stillwater Drive, and as of right now, due to construction, upgrades, the pipes going in, it turned into a playground for everybody that enjoys recreation. Right now there's no law and order up there whatsoever, to the point where it's 24/7, 7 days a week. Now we have a road that runs east and west, but that's combined with the road that now runs north and south. All the vegetation's gone. We got road base down where they hoped the weeds would grow back, and it hasn't taken place yet. There's no curfew. There's no signage, there's no stop signs, so now we have an intersection, and we witness almost wrecks every day.
Can you clarify, sorry, which roads you're talking about, Stillwater Drive, and which?
So Stillwater Drive, it's
all the way up to the
access
very
road
top.
to Israel Canyon.
So then, sorry, go ahead.
So when the pipeline got put in, there was an easement, and all the construction equipment was parked on the east side of the fence, which there used to be a lot of vegetation there, but all that equipment and driving back and forth created maybe a 100 by 300 foot parking lot essentially, whereas all the parking used to take place on the west side of the fence. So essentially it's moved all the traffic that much closer to our neighborhood, and then made it bigger so more people can utilize that area for recreation.
You're talking about motorized highway?
Motorized, yeah, shooting. I mean, there's all types of activity going on.
Horses, UTVs, ATVs, motorbikes.
Hunting, like the hunt was this weekend, so
RVs.
that parking lot was chock full.
And if,
RV camping there?
yes.
Yeah.
It is a bow hunt, but the RV actually pulled up before then, and now there was another RV, so apparently it's just going to continue.
Campfires, there's kids that, and this isn't close to us, but in the summer months, they come weekly with pallets and go up to the base of the mountains and have giant bonfires. And we just had a fire there, like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was further to the south.
That was only about a mile south of us, so.
So when we do call our local police department to respond, they say that they can't do anything because they have a legal right to be there, even though they don't consider it suspicious. Whether it's on the weekend, it's 24/7, all night long. Between the dust, the noise, the domestic violence situations, the confrontations with the neighbors, I mean, it's getting bad up there. So what we're asking for is some signage, something, or some fence, some gates.
A plan to just kind of mitigate. And to the city's credit, I called maybe a year or two ago, and when the easement first went in, because there were no rocks or anything, and the city came and put some rocks everywhere to make it so people can't go full speed on that road. But since then, people have just moved the rocks aside, so that road is essentially back to what it once was.
Mark, could you work with staff to look into that?
Sure. There's a small problem is that that's unincorporated county. So, I mean, technically, right on the back of their property lines is where the city ends. So as far as us and our remediation on that property, you know, we've kind of remediated. I will happily have our guys go take a look and see what we can do.
Okay.
Yes.
And find out kind of what the situation is, because we can call the county commissioners.
You bet, and
give them a call.
we did plant seed to vegetate and things of that nature, but because of the intense use on that, it just didn't take. So, but fundamentally, you know, it is something that we can certainly take a look at. If you could leave your contact information with David here, we'll reach out to you and chat with you, and we'll try and do what we can.
Okay.
The only thing I would add is our police department, on their border for what they enforce, they believe that that is in their boundary. So I don't know how that works with the city lines and everything else, but they can't enforce anything if there's no signs. That's what they told us. So
Okay.
that's all.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for bringing this to our attention.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Anybody else here for public input? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public input at this time. We'll move on to reports. Is there any reports from the council? Okay.
Just one note that David and Jeremy and whomever else will be bringing shortly to us the contract for updating the Parks and Trails master plan. And we'll have that for us. So hopefully, I think they're going to try to see if they can get on this next agenda.
Yeah, so we've got that coming up. We've got public safety impact fees that are coming up as well.
So that actually sort of leads into one question I have. I just noticed with all of the traffic with back to school, they're doing the sidewalk on Pony Express there on the southwest corner, but where then they have a crosswalk that they're drawing across Redwood Road to nothing. It's gravel and a dip. There's no access to the trail on the east side of Redwood Road. It literally, it hits the pit, and there's no, like, they did the connection from Redwood to the trail way down, like, not way, it's about maybe 400 yards. So the kids are gonna have to walk down the bike trail on Redwood Road to get to that asphalt to get onto the, because you and I talked about it, why did they have the access to the trail from Redwood Road with asphalt, not at the intersection? So there's really no way for kids to use that trail from the high school and the junior high. It's like, so at Pony Express, as you're coming up Pony Express, and they have a crosswalk that they're putting in across Redwood Road to go east, but then it literally, you have to go down into the gully, and there's no connection to the beautiful new trail they just put along Redwood Road. They did it 400 yards south, which concerned me because I was thinking that's where they want the road access, but that is not where the road access needs to be. So just speaking of trails, I saw that today and I was just so confused because I saw a bunch of kids actually running on Redwood Road.
Cross-country team?
They weren't even the cross-country team. These were just kids with their backpacks. They were on the bike trail on Redwood Road running against traffic to get down to that spot to then cut across. So, not good. Thanks.
Okay. Anything from,
I had the opportunity, it was a pleasure to speak to the state Water Finance Board earlier today. Actually, it went very, very well. So if you have any specific questions, I sent you a copy of the PowerPoint, and happy to answer any questions offline about that. Thanks.
okay. Perfect. With that, we'll move to the public hearing for the compensation schedule for employees elected, appointed, and statutory officers, ordinances 18-26.
Mayor and Council, I'll tackle this one real quick. This is, it's a technicality. We adopted the budget. The budget included this pay plan. However, we have to formally adopt an ordinance that enacts that. So this is just a cleanup from what we adopted already back in May.
Okay. So this is a public hearing. I will open the public hearing. Is anybody here for comment on the compensation schedule for employees? Please limit your comment to 3 minutes. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Is there any discussion from the council?
Just one clarification, I apologize. It was adopted in June, not May.
Okay.
I don't know if that changes the public hearing.
I will entertain a motion.
I would just ask that we split the motion.
The one that you passed already? Okay.
How would we
No,
split this?
he entertains a motion. You have to make a motion.
I'll make a motion, fine. I move that we approve the compensation schedule for employees, appointed, and statutory officers, excluding elected from that. Ordinance 18-26 dated today.
I'll second.
I have a first from Councilman Porter, a second from Councilwoman Barch. Any further discussion?
Just questioning why?
When we first adopted the pay plan, I expressed my dislike for the inclusion of elected officers in there, and that hasn't changed, so I just would continue to vote that way.
Okay.
Okay. With no further discussion, we'll do a roll call. Porter?
Aye.
Barch?
Aye.
McComber?
Nay.
Wilden?
Nay.
Podeska?
Nay.
Motion fails. I will entertain another motion.
I'll move, go ahead, Michael.
I move that we approve the compensation schedule for employees elected, appointed, and statutory officials, ordinance 18-26 dated today.
Okay, I have a first from Councilwoman McComber.
I'll second it.
I have a second from Councilwoman Barch. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, we'll do a roll call. Podeska?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Barch?
Aye.
Porter?
Nay.
Motion passes 4-1.
That's okay.
Okay, business items. Code amendment to Title 19 signs, ordinance 18-22, continued from our meeting on July 17th.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this was a request of Maverick dealing with lighted signs. As you recall at the last meeting, it was discussed to bring the option in the code now where signs adjacent to residential or visible from residential could be lit. With the discussion you had, it appeared that the consensus was you'd allow at least 150 feet before that could happen. And so we've brought that back to you, but the reason why it was continued was Maverick had requested that so they could take a look at their sites that they have, one at Ring, the other one at Pony in the future, to see if that affects that in any way. And they'd come back and said they're comfortable with the 150 feet as you had suggested at the last meeting.
Was it from the sign or from the property line?
From property line. They had an issue, they wanted to check to see if it was, how it could affect. They just informed me tonight they're good with the 150 to property line.
That was the question from the council at the last meeting. Any further discussion on it? Then we'll, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, so Maverick's comfortable?
Yes,
like-
there was a Maverick.
Sorry, you already
representative here.
said that.
Yeah, there is the Maverick representative here tonight. If you want to ask them any questions, they're more than happy to do that, but they said they're good at the 150.
You can just give a thumbs up.
If you have something you want to say, you're more than welcome to.
Leslie Mascaro. I'm with Maverick. We have had an opportunity to review this with our sign company and ensure that we're still in compliance with the 150-foot regulation, and we feel fine with it. We appreciate your efforts in helping us to amend this text amendment.
Perfect, thank you.
Mayor, so just a clarification. So you're comfortable with 150 from property line or from sign?
150 feet from residential property line.
Okay.
That'd be from the sign to the property line, at least 150 feet.
Okay.
So it's not from the property line to the residential zone, it's from
The sign.
the sign to the residential
To the property line. Yeah.
That's what we discussed.
Okay. I thought it was from the property line to,
Oh.
but that's, okay.
That's fine with it. I'll make a motion.
I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the code amendment Title 19 signs, ordinances 1822 dated today, continued. I don't need to read that.
Seconded.
I have a first from Councilman Wilden, a second from Councilman McComber. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Councilwoman Barch.
Aye.
McComber.
Aye.
Wilden. Aye. Podeska.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
From who?
Okay, we have the Central Utah Water Conservancy District Water Purchase Agreement.
Mayor and council, this is unique. Up to this point, we've contracted with Central Utah, but it was for 10,000 acre feet, which was for the PRI property and SLR property in the city. If you remember back in January, our water fees changed and our impact fees changed. At that time, we no longer had water rights to sell. We've been collecting money for Central Utah water contracts, and we feel that we're at that point. They didn't want to enter until we had enough for the first 50 acre foot block. And so what this contract does is it contracts us to purchase 300 acre feet by the summer of 2021. So we've got some time to purchase this. So far, we've collected enough money from development activity to pay for the first 60 acre feet of water. So we're going to be taking down the first 100 acre foot block, and then we've got enough money that will immediately pay for that first 60 acre feet, and then we'll just continue to use that into the system. So as we move forward, we're going to continue to collect money from the development. This is as was planned and discussed and we've been working on for years. So this is the first 300 acre foot block. If you want to look at it long term, what's our exposure? Think of 240 acre feet. Roughly speaking, that's about 500 homes. So I think that we'll be probably talking with them about our next contract probably about this time next year, if not sooner.
Of course it will.
So anyway, so from a risk standpoint, we've got 3 years to sell that water. Otherwise, we would be required to pay for it. We do have money in our water rights fund that we could use to pay for it if we chose to do it. We would prefer not to do it. We prefer to sell that, and then, but we have the backstop at this point.
Okay. Okay, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the Central Utah Water Conservancy District Water Purchase Agreement.
I have a first from Councilman Porter.
Second.
I have a second from Councilman Podeska. Any further discussion on the motion? Okay. Councilman Wilden?
Aye.
McComber?
Aye.
Barch?
Aye.
Porter?
Aye.
Podeska?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have the City Council Goals Prioritization.
So Mayor, Council, this was put in your Dropbox as well as email. I emailed it out to you. Really, it's if you have additional items you want to discuss. Otherwise, I can send out a survey for you to start prioritizing and ranking those. I just haven't done it yet in case there were additions you wanted to make. But otherwise, if you want to discuss, we can. Or I can just send out that link for you to start discussing, and then we can get them prioritized and bring them back to you for official recognition or adoption, or however we want to do it.
I don't have anything else to add. I thought the list was already getting pretty long.
I think we just get it out and let us start prioritizing it so we can have a real discussion based on prioritization. Okay.
So based on that, we'll send out kind of a survey monkey that lets you prioritize. Thanks.
Perfect.
I can't remember, but we talked about continuing annexation plans. Did that make it onto the list?
I thought it was.
Sorry, I read it I think it is, you captured your notes very well. I just couldn't remember if I saw that one off the top of my head.
The annexation is continuing the west side annexation, which we talked about at the January retreat.
I would like maybe from a staff recommendation too, besides just here's the blank list, let's start ranking it. These, like maybe these 5 things are things that we're already working on or that are already a priority, you know what I mean? So that I'm not having to remind myself now, okay, we talked about that. Shelley mentioned that a year ago. Are we still working on it? You know what I mean? I don't want to then take something that we're 90% of the way there and say, now it's a priority 9. So if we could just like let us know which ones are already sort of like we're going to be doing, they're in process, and then let's prioritize the remaining.
I think a good example of that, item 7, police and court building completion.
Right. Obviously, we're not going to put that as a low priority.
Yeah, that's number 17 now.
So
So you know what I'm getting at? Like, that way it's a cleaner poll.
So I'll add some notes on each one, whether it's, or even split them out under goals that are currently under
or
In
In the
in
poll, I would actually
progress.
just put the ones that we want to rank, and then maybe in in a SurveyMonkey, you have like the paragraph at the top and say, here's the ones that we're already doing, and then here's the poll.
Then I will make those changes and probably get it out either later tonight or first thing in the morning.
Don't stay too late. Tomorrow works fine. Okay. I know.
I won't be looking at it tonight.
But I figure you've done a 10-hour day.
At the rate we're
Michael will look at it, but Wilden won't, so tomorrow works.
If you want to wait till Saturday, that's fine with me, too.
Okay. We don't need a motion on that. I will entertain a motion on the August 7th minutes.
I noticed that the minutes, that they were captured, all the changes. So I'll move that we approve all minutes, including changes that were submitted prior to the city council for August 7th, 2018.
I have a first from Councilman McComber, a second from Councilman Porter. Any further discussion? Badesca? Aye. Porter? Aye. McComber?
Aye.
Barch?
Aye.
Wilden?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Do we have need for closed session? Please, no.
Yeah.
Where's?
We did do those at the retreat, but we wanted to make sure and give you an opportunity to have it as part of the public meeting.
Okay, if we can do that quickly.
A very tight version, maybe.
Do you have any, Gordon, ready? Okay. Okay.
You
want applications
changed in the last 21 days.
Do you have a?
Mayor would like his own separate meeting, one-on-one, though, since he missed the mid-year.
Mark has,
Did we record it on YouTube? Maybe you could just watch that.
Mark will bore me later.
There was a part where Mark was going like this when we were talking about sewer, so.
The sewer guy said you shouldn't chew your nails.
That's just gross.
We ready?
Yes, please. So, speaking of updates, there have been significant changes in my world. So, we reviewed these numbers. It obviously showed that there's a high workload relative to our staffing. So, if you could go on to the next one. Oh, well, so we've hired a guy who will be here September 10th. Coming from Texas. He's got some great experience with the municipality down there. I think he's about a 10-year guy, and so we're really excited about him.
Do they have code in Texas?
That's Houston.
Yeah, the Houston area is that one.
Lack of, I should say.
So that's a significant change. That's going to change our world. And, the rest of these are the same. All the status on these are the same, and I'm not going to read them off to you. Any questions since our retreat?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, for Public Works, Mark, in the minutes for last time, we brought up George's quick response to the flooding basements. Did you see that he was recognized?
Yes, we did, and we did it in my office with just a few select people, and he was very grateful that he was not drug in front of the council in a public meeting. He said that was a greater gift than any recognition he could receive. So it was heartfelt.
He's our public works guy who does not like being in front of everyone. He'd rather be behind the scenes.
So would it make him uncomfortable if we all visited his house all at once?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So,
And then
yeah.
sending the YouTube clip?
He was very grateful that you did not publicly do it, so thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Question just on public works stuff. On the street and electrical, I think it's probably under streets.
Jeremy will be here in just a few minutes.
Okay.
So he was on his way up from Public Works, but if we could hit Stroud, maybe he'll be here.
Yeah, okay. Going on to some of the highlights and accomplishments we have here. These are things we've done in 2018. Top one, of course, general plan land use map. We're in the process of finalizing that. Code amendments, we changed the development review process to bring some things, pull them away from city council, give those to us, delegate some of those to staff or to planning commission. We did get the mixed residential zone implemented now, and that is being used as we speak. Of course, the Alpine School District going gung-ho on their plan right now for the school. Fat Cats, big entertainment center coming in now, which would be great for the city. IHC, we got a Rushton annexation that's been accepted, in the works now, working on that. And biggest, of course, we got 2 new planner ones hired who are doing a great job, and glad to see them excelling in their position right now. Our applications historically from 2014 on, looks like we're going to be set to hit or break last year. As you can see, the trend line is obviously on the upwards direction, and so we're moving forward on that.
Did we ever have a recession in Saratoga Springs? Yes. I'm joking, because it's so good.
Yeah, and just going back, I want to say in a few years before 2012, I want to say it was in the 20s, something like that. Yeah, it was pretty flat there. Then, of course, we give all of our applications a complexity, how long it takes to review an application. Of course, community plans are the most complex. Those are going to be number 5. We've had 3 of those, and you can kind of see how those, at least halfway through the year, where we stand right now on the complexity category. Just to give you some update on a few other items. We have made an offer for a code compliance inspector, and so we're waiting on their response to see if they will accept that position. A couple of zoning violations you may have been aware of is that Quick Quack put out their orange garbage cans. Made a visit and wrote a letter to the Boyer. They got on that fairly quickly. I did talk to the manager there that day as well. I did get an email the other day from the developer showing me an invoice of ordering 40 of the garbage cans that were approved. They're back order. They should be around the first week of September delivered. No, they had, I think, gray roughneck garbage cans, Rubbermaid garbage cans, yeah. And they bought the orange ones in and said, yeah, we've got to change that. So they're in the process of working on that. Smiths had put up a couple of signs on their building, which... Well, no, actually, I don't think so, because I went there today and looked. There's no sandblasting, there's no paint. I think it may have been like a vinyl overlay, but it did look like paint. Yeah, so they just pulled them off. And so, however, they still have the bollard signs, the sleeves that go over the bollards. There's probably 20 bollards in front of the store. They all have a sign.
The bollard sign doesn't bug me.
And so, and they also still have they all still have the small little pole signs where the clickless parking is. We approved small signs on the building where they could pull in. They still have those there. I tried to get with Sam here recently about some of the issues behind the Old Smiths here, about some junk. I wasn't able to get a hold of Sam, so I'll follow up with Sam on that to see where we stand. The Luau, the Land Use Academy of Utah training, is this Saturday. 5 of the 7 planning commissioners will be in attendance to that. I want to say 4 are going to go to the Orem broadcast, 1 will go to Taylorsville. Had to register them for one, I let them pick where they wanted to go, but 5 of the 7 will be going to that. And then item that the council gave us at the retreat was weekly updates of planning applications. And so I believe you all are getting those now. Is there anything, do you want more detail on those? Is what you have? Well, if you see something, you'll give us a call.
New or updated or revised?
New or resubmittal. We usually classify as new or resubmittal on that. So is what we're sending to you acceptable, what you've got? Okay.
We just need a picture of you with each one, too.
No.
I'll be on hiring a new code enforcement.
You said that.
Yeah, I gave an offer out today for our candidate we'd like to see, and so we're waiting on that.
So how much are you offering to pay Shelley?
Not enough.
She would do that out of pure joy.
No, I'll do it for free.
Okay, so Jeremy, you're up. The council just wanted any updates from anything that's changed since the retreat. So you can summarize this quite a bit.
400 North.
Looks great.
Things finished.
They did a good job. Very smooth. No waves.
we made a very strong statement that this was a centerpiece for our Saratoga Splash, and they were doing their 18.
So
Parade is on this road.
So one thing I didn't realize, and I just didn't think about it, but we lost all of our diagonal parking.
Yeah, I noticed that. We replaced it with parallel parking, but
I know, but that's like a quarter of the spots.
well, the road was never built wide enough to accommodate that. That
Yeah.
was an interim condition based on the fact that we had not finished the striping for the 3 lanes.
I just think that we're gonna end up with some issues during splash days maybe, but.
7 days a year from
Yeah.
the winter.
Winter Festival, yeah. Is there a way, so I know that that would go into the bike lane, I can't picture the width right now in my mind, but is there a way we could do temporary striping to allow for diagonal striping and lose a bike lane for 7 days? Is that, I don't know if that's even a possibility.
Well, they have that choppy paint.
Yeah.
Next year, let's sit and look at options for dealing with temporary parking. That certainly could be an option.
Because it was phenomenal to have all the extra ADA parking inside the parking lot, but then it also meant that everybody ends up
You also
walking.
have the, I don't know if the school would allow us, but you also have the school across the street.
We'd have to work on an agreement with them, maybe.
The charter school?
Yeah.
People park.
I think people just park there anyway.
You have the undeveloped Patterson lawn for now.
Tell them they
I don't know.
You launch fireworks there.
The timing of that.
That's where the fireworks lot.
Real season.
No,
Pony
I know.
Express
Yeah.
got finished through 8th West in time for school opening, so we were able to get those full 5 lanes to accommodate school. As you know, they still have to finish the work west of 800 West, but that seems to be going quite well.
Good.
And the road got done in time for school, and Pony Express got done in time for school.
Yeah, they actually made it. Well,
Yeah,
the
driving
lanes,
surface
the
is
lanes,
done,
yeah.
But the cones really are just to keep people from being stupid at Red Bull Road.
You've seen UDOT's mobilized on the south half of the widening, they're working on that. They met with Maverick today just to discuss.
And they started digging out the road today.
You know, there's a signal going
Really?
down the road.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
But I see it, 'cause I'm right there every day.
That's about it.
So I just had one question. We talked a couple of times about the damage that's being done to our black street lights by the taping of for sale signs, yard sale signs, other, random snipe sites with the duct tape and the packing tape and things like that. Have we, as far as staff, have you guys
I
tried to
did.
figure out what we're going to do there?
I did talk to Public Works about trying to come up with some type of prototype sign to put on there. I haven't seen that yet, but I'll follow up.
Okay.
And then we're in garage season, the garage,
Yes.
garage sales and stuff. So if this additional new code enforcement person, even the officers on Friday, Saturday, if you take them down right away before the sun bakes the tape, it doesn't damage it. It's because they leave it for a week and a half.
Right.
Because they don't ever come back and take their signs down. They put them up on Friday for the garage sale the next day, and then they leave it. So if we can just take them down on Friday night or Saturday morning when they go up, that would help a lot, plus getting the sign on there. The sooner you get them off, the better.
And I don't know if we need to amend our code somehow to actually have some kind of a fine that we can impose.
They have the phone number.
I mean, they've got
or
the phone number, right, or
address.
the address, so I would like, because I think if we
I think
actually
we just
start
outlaw all
imposing
tape.
those fines, then people will stop doing it, because it's making the rest of the residents subsidize the repairs and the cleanup cost.
We want to get rid of the red tape in the city.
Email, was the discussion to put a post no bill sign on every street light? Or
I don't think, the main intersections, I think, I mean, obviously at the code,
Crossroads.
yeah, I think the code itself would read any
Pioneer
street sign kind of a thing, so we don't have those posted all over the place, but then they would only be, actually, the little signage would only be on the, which is funny to put signs saying no signs, but that's, yeah.
I actually would rather have it, I don't want them on any of the posts, because it still looks gross. The tape gets on there and on the gray one.
That's what I'm saying, but I
Yeah.
don't think we need like the actual little tiny
No.
sign on each post.
Yeah, just outlaw them on all, but post them on black, then I agree with you.
just the main arterial?
The main,
Big, where everyone puts the sign.
Intersections, main intersections.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll work with them, we'll get some
You don't,
proofs printed up, and then at problem
Get neighbors that
intersections,
are-
we keep a stockpile, and then if the one doesn't have them, they're pretty easy to install. actually.
So, one of the things, just for the people here in the audience, the two that finally actually showed up, we're not anti-tape. We're we spend a lot of money making nice poles that are black powder coated with Saratoga spring sign that makes our city nicer. And when people put tape on it, it rips that black coating off and then it rusts and causes a lot of damage. And then we have to come back and it costs the taxpayers thousands of dollars. So we're trying to be wise with the spending. So you can add that to your report.
We use blue painter's tape, and as long as we can make a full circle,
It's
it
fine.
holds, and then it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, the blue tape's good.
and fortunately, most people don't do that.
On a streetlight
blue tape.
discussion, something that may be of interest to you, because it's been an ongoing issue, is the cost of our streetlights. So we found actually finally a vendor that will make an equivalent product. We sat them down with our existing vendor, Mountain States Lighting, and we're in the final design details approving it. So we're really close to having 2 options, and so when people come in for a pre-con or whatever, we're gonna give them both vendors' numbers, and it's free market, and whoever they want to go with. So it was tough, because if you remember, per your direction, we've gone out twice in the last 5 years looking for alternate vendors, and we were never able to find one. And finally, because the industry had some changes go on as far as who was authorized vendors and distributors for different products, and there was some shakeup, finally there's another group out there that is a comparable, that manufactures poles, there's a vendor for HADCO. So we really have 2 now equal competitors. They're very amicable. We're meeting with them together. It's a very, collaborative effort. There's no contention there. They understand. And so, well, yeah, but what we want is a competitive process where there's no incentive,
Well, we've gotten flack from our developers that it's a monopoly.
So I expect that to be wrapped up. We're just making sure that all the products we're pre-approving are close enough. So while there may be some slight variations, they really won't be noticeable. One's going to use a King luminaire, one's going to use HADCO. One base is going to be a composite material, one's aluminum. So unless you're doing analyze, you may notice the difference, but we're making sure those are close enough for our needs, and then we'll, I think maybe 30 days away from having that final.
Awesome. Great. And then I just had one more comment. This was a thank you. So one of the things that you noted in here was the additional 2018 accomplishments. And I just want to note a great big thank you to how incredible our staff members are, where they went and saved us thousands by doing the library remodel instead of having to contract that out. So to have staff members that are willing and able to do that kind of thing and save us money is phenomenal.
They did, just to give them more accolades, they not only did that, they did the trail connector by Sergeant Court themselves, poured the concrete themselves from the sidewalk in response to the residents and the school path. They went up and did the trail by the fire station themselves. That's true. There's just
The
mountain bike
sidewalk
trail
thing.
in the park, with volunteer help. There's a long bunch of things that we have been doing in-house. It's just been really exciting and impressive. So.
Yeah, definitely pass on our thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mark?
We will have need of closed session in the next meeting, not tonight. Figured we'd save you for that. There's just a couple follow-up items from previous discussions, but it can wait.
The meeting's over.
Okay. Meeting's ended, adjourned.
So David has some things for you all.